Welcome to the Astrology for October 2021. So we are in a Mercury retrograde. It started at the end of the month of September and it's going to go way into October. And in general, I would say October feels like a difficult month. If I can say that as nicely as I can. Okay, towards the end, it'll get better. But I know that's not what everybody wants to hear because the stress and the strain between a Mercury retrograde and a whole bunch of things coming out of retrograde, puts a lot of pressure and stress on. And I know everyone is feeling it because I'm, dealing with phone calls and so many things happening on so many levels. So everybody take a deep breath and let's go into a little bit more detail on the astrology for October. On the 6th of the month, the new moon goes into Libra, supporting us in striving for better balance in our intimate relationships. Of course, we could look at all relationships as holding various amounts of intimacy. So let's include all those that we decide to engage with during this month, not just the closest people to us. We need to learn to pay attention to the challenges and suffering of others. We need to be more flexible in our dealings with others and the negotiations that help to increase our skills in communication. We need to move in a unified way towards conjoined goals and objectives. While Mars will quincunx with Uranus early in the month, remember to look before we leap. Rash decisions and actions will make things much more difficult, and we need to pay attention to our instincts. If you feel strongly to do one particular thing and others object, make your path the priority for you. Now, that does not mean you will be right or wrong. It means that this is a lesson to learn to live with your own choices, and we must be willing to take on the consequences of those choices. Mars is really pushing us in very uncomfortable ways this month. So trying to find harmony and balance in a world that is struggling to get its own way can be challenging. In a crazy world, finding a stable and consistent place within is critical to finding contentment and peace. Notice I said contentment and peace. This is not about happiness right now. This is about staying the course and having enough energy to finish that journey. While in the month of October, there will be 4 major planets turning direct, we would like to think that that is very good. It may feel as if the universe is constantly asking for one more thing, though. And right now, anything more may seem too much for some. Pluto will go direct on the 6th, and I always say Pluto, when it goes forward, kind of lurches. Saturn will go direct on the 10th, and so, those things that, need to be handled and need to be decided will start to be decided after the 10th. And Mercury and Jupiter will go direct on the 18th. And so while Mercury retrograde will kind of end some of this fiasco with all of the systems and structures and patterns that we're dealing with, and Jupiter going direct will create more happiness, it still just feels like a lot of lurching trying to move forward again. I expect many to feel more confused, less focused, and that will lead to many more upsets and snap points being pushed. The road to progress this month is paved with potholes. Nothing like that for a little phrase. While we want to go fast, we have not properly prepared for the speed and velocity that is being asked of us, and that leads to us tripping over our own denial and those issues we have been avoiding. Because my husband worked in India for 8 years, one of the things that was weird is that they built these beautiful highways and then they built the bridges. And the people who build the highways are not the people who build the bridges. And so what happens is that you go on the highway really fast and you have to slow down and stop because all of a sudden there's this big bump to get up on the bridge. And then on the other side of the bridge, there's a big bump to go off of the bridge. So somehow the two sides didn't communicate. That's kind of how this feels. It's like we're going really, really fast and there's, slow down, big bump, ba-bump, ba-bump, little speed, ba-bump, ba-bump, go fast again. It's going to feel like we're hitting these constant bumps as we go over these overpasses, all right? So many will have to fall down and smack their heads against cobblestones, bleeding and irritated. They will finally address the issues that have been right there in front of them that they have been avoiding. So Pluto starts us off after being in retrograde since April. Know that the week before, the intense feelings are going to be palpable. Personally, I would prepare by writing down what my new goals are going to be going forward. Notice what it is you really want. Notice what has to shift inside to make that happen. Notice what is going to be up to you, and none of us can expect a ton of help in a deeply personal matter. Everyone is in too much overwhelm to be able to assist. I know that sounds horrible. Pluto's shift always feels demanding, insistent, and compelling. A force within awakens and pushes us to change before it's too late. While some may need to complain and brood over it, many things are going to be insisted upon shortly. From all of us, this is our moment to choose rather than be dragged through the door kicking and screaming. The universe always gives us a choice, and then it will do what is needed, whether we like it or not. Saturn goes direct around the 10th of October, making us deal with the minuscule and the small bits that are so essential to making anything in life work. The devil is in the details, and it is our responsibility to follow through. We may notice our limitations and where we are sorely lacking skill and ability. This is attempting to give us enough time to catch up for those who have slacked off or gone into resistance. October 18th, Jupiter goes direct, and it might feel as if some things seem a bit more fun. Enthusiasm returns and confidence increases. It allows the end of the month to be a more joyous and positive event. Things seem to finally be going somewhere rather than feeling as if they are spinning our wheels and staying in one spot. On this day, Mercury will go direct in Libra, and those decisions that seem to have been put off will feel as if they are gaining momentum and finally moving forward. While that motion will be slow, it will feel as if a train's wheels are trying to grab onto those slippery tracks to get traction. This month, we get to look at a lot of old stuff and patterns that are clearly not what we expected or wanted. Many hidden things are revealed this month, while for some that may be irritating and make us realize how we have manifested an illusion instead of the truth. The cycles of learning requires us to recognize where we are falling short and decide to make a major correction. October 20th, there is an Aries full moon making us see how we are responsible regardless of the blame games that others like to play. Much progress can be seen from the standpoint of personal shifts. Perhaps we initiated new things under so many retrogrades, and now we are seeing the new outcomes manifesting in more positive ways. October is a trick to find a new balance in our body, our personal choices, and attending to the needs of others. While it may not feel much like a treat, there will be things along the way to celebrate. Enjoy them fully when they arise. We recognize the need for companionship and connection. We finally see the pressures of life in a new light. We decide to let go of more fear and reclaim our courage and passion. Everyone struggles with obstacles and difficulties in life. Everyone has to learn to be resourceful and have a personal code. But we may need to recognize that some have a code of manipulation rather than truth. Some have a code of negativity rather than seeking the most positive aspects. Some have questionable moral fortitude, and some are just cruel in their projections and judgments. This month, there are many forms of bravery. This month, each of us is brave by making choices to stay kind in the face of so much hate in the world. It is an act of extreme courage to wake up and face those who want to tear down the good in the world. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to be uncertain. It is okay to be pissed off. But regardless, find that center and hold that line that you know will lead you towards places of love and light. While others may not follow, that does not matter. It is your path, your life, and your choices that determine your karmic path in this life that you will carry into the next. Thanks, everyone.